Very, very exciting day today. Very, very exciting. There's a lot that we have to get to. Rabbi say we're starting the halachas of Bosis. Okay, because this is going to be one continuous sugya for the next couple of shiurim. It's very, very important for us to get these halachas clear. A lot of people know that the sugya of Bosis exists, but they don't really know exactly how it works and the details of the halacha, and often people get it confused and people make mistakes in it and it's not kedai, which is why it's very important, Rabbi Sai, to give your full attention to every detail and part that we are saying, because every part that we're saying is going to be a continuation of another example, another exception to the rule of Bosis. It's absolutely crucial to make sure you have every detail. Binyamin, got it? Every detail. We're starting a brand new sugya, Morty. Brand new sugya today, very, very exciting. It's a sugya that, again, like I said, people know exists, but don't know the ramifications and don't know the actual halachas. So you guys are zoicha be'ez Hashem to know the halachas properly. So we'll start like this. The general rule, let's try to define what does Bosis mean. How do we define Bosis? If you were explaining to somebody that was becoming religious, what is Bosis? How do you define Bosis? What is it all about? And the answer is very, very simple. The answer is, again, without going into all the details, which we'll have to go into, but in a simple way, that if I have a Muktza item that is placed on a non-Muktza item, the non-Muktza item that is holding up the Muktza becomes Muktza. Okay, that is a simple explanation to Bosis. Makor is all over Masechta Shabbos, all over the place we find baskets of fruit with stones in it, we find shovels with ashes, and interesting, there's all sorts of examples of what this is. We're going to have to go through it one by one to understand, okay? So that is the general rule with Bosis. Now let me make this very, very clear, okay? Because I don't want to say this every single time, but it's important to know. If something is a Bosis, let's take a simple example, okay? Let's take a shtender. Okay, you take a shtender, which is a non-muktzah item, and you place something muktzah on it. Now, what's the definition of something muktzah? We'll get to it. What's the definition of placing? We'll get to it. But right now, I take a muktzah item. Let's take a simple idea. Take a stone and I put it on a shtender. The shtender has now become muktzah. What does that mean? What can I do with the shtender? The answer is absolutely nothing. You cannot move it. You cannot shake off the muktzah. You can't elbow it up. Nothing. You cannot touch the shtender now. The entire shtender has become Muktza. Whereas, if it was not a Bosis, which we'll get to, if it's not a Bosis, then I would not be able to lift it up in the normal way because there's Muktza on it, and therefore when I pick up the shtender, I'm picking up the Muktza. But what I could do is shake it off, and then I could use the shtender. So there's a major nafkamina if an item is Muktza because of Bosis or not a Bosis. Because if it's a Bosis, it remains Muktza the ganze Shabbos, even if the Muktza got removed, by the way. Can you imagine, I put a stone on a shtender, 20 minutes after Shabbos began, a goy comes along and takes off the stone. That shtender is muktzah the entire Shabbos. That's the din of Bosis. Okay, we're going to talk about it. We're going to burst a lot of people's bubbles when it comes to trays of candlesticks. You guys are going to get married, you can actually know this halacha, because unfortunately a lot of people don't know this halacha, and we'll talk about it, Be'ez Hashem. But first let's get the klolim very crystal clear. It's crucial to know all the details of Bosis, and you miss one detail, it's all over. Okay, so Rabbi say, you guys are zoika, listen carefully. Okay, so, first of all, before we start the details, what's the svara? What's the pshat? What's the svara Bosis? What's the svara behind the issa of Bosis? A shtender is not muktzah, because there's something muktzah and all of a sudden it becomes muktzah. Mechadesa. Why? Anybody have an idea? Anyone want to say? What does that mean?
Separated for a thing.
That's nice. Anyone else? No, what's the svara? Explain to me the svara why a shtender should become muktzah because there's a stone on it. Shaykhas.
You move the shtender, you're moving the muktzah.
Okay, so now the muktzah is gone. I can't move the shtender anymore.
But
even after it's taken away. That's the chiddush of Bosis. Rashi learns like this. Shabbos Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. Rashi learns the yesod of Bosis is a din of tofel. Tofel means secondary. Now when I place a muktzah item on top of something non-muktzah, the non-muktzah item becomes tofel, becomes secondary to the muktzah. It all becomes bottled to it, because it's holding it up. If that's the case, that's the reason why it becomes muktzah, becomes tofel. However, by the way, what's that? Why? Because when Shabbos came in, which we'll talk about why it's Kovei when Shabbos comes in, but it's Kovei when Shabbos comes in, and it was tougher when Shabbos came in. Rabbi Akiva Eiger and Simon Reish and Gimel says a similar svara that the din of Bosis is a din bittel of mevatel. Because let me think about it like this: if I put a stone on the stender, what does that mean? That means I'm not interested in the stender. Which leads us lemaisa to the other svara that some of the other svarim bring down is the din of hesach hadas. In other words, when I put a stone on the stender, I'm showing I don't want to use the stender. Why'd you put a stone on it? Must be you don't want to use it. So you've misiak das from it. You've like sort of, that's what Leiby was saying basically. You set it aside saying, I'm not interested in the stender. That's why you put a stone on it, right? So those are the basic svaras on that. And the question, before we move on, is a shaila which is discussed in the Ritva, how much of the item holding the Muktza becomes Muktza? Let's say, for example, you have one of these big tables in the Beis Medrash, and you put one coin on the corner. The entire table becomes Muktza? One coin? Yes. Says the Ritva, that when it was one chayvetz of Muktza, the entire item becomes Muktza, with the exception, Rabbi Akiva Eiger discusses this in Mishnah and Tess, and Rabbi Akiva Eiger says, what happens if, for example, you've got a pile of Lego, got a whole pile of Lego, clicks, or something similar to that, and there's a Muktza on one of the pieces. The whole pile becomes Muktza, says Rabbi Akiva Eiger, no. In that case, not, because every one is an individual piece, and therefore there's no problem. Okay? We'll talk about different examples. Now, I want to give you just a chakira. I know it's a little bit early in the morning, but a little bit of a chakira from my Rosh Yeshiva of Shambik Zatzel to try to understand this. And he says, what's the pshat in Bosis? Is it the pshat that the item holding up the Muktza becomes bottled to the Muktza and basically becomes Muktza itself? Or is the pshat, this is the chakir that we said before, or is the pshat that a person was Masiach Das and Mekatza Das, meaning I don't want to use it because you put something Muktza on it? Which one is it? My nafkamina. What's a nafkamina? Great lomda shachakiva. My nafkamina. I said the nafkamina is something we'll deal with. If you put a challah on top of a tray of candlesticks, are you allowed to move the candlestick tray after the fire went out? It's totally in this chakiva. If you learn it's a din of bittel, so it won't help you. Because at the end of the day, the candlestick tray is miyuchad, specially for the candlesticks. So because we put a challah there, who cares? It's bottled already to the candlesticks. That's what it's made for. Whereas if you learn the pshat is a din of hesach hadas, but when I put the Muktza on, I'm showing that I don't want to use it. Oh, over here I show that I do want to use it because I put a challah on it. You hear the difference? Mori, you got the chakiv, you got the nafkamina? Beautiful. Okay. I might ask you to write it down. Right, now we're going to go to the crunch. Now I want to go through the conditions, okay? What do we have here? We have 5 conditions. Okay, it's extremely important to have these conditions clear. Because like I said, everyone knows Bosis. Who doesn't know Bosis? You can tell them, I'm learning Bosis in yeshiva. They'll be like, yeshiva? Huh? Bosis in yeshiva? Say that, everyone knows Bosis. Oh, do they know all the examples? They know all of the halachas of Bosis? Most people don't. Okay? I challenge you to ask someone if they know all the conditions of Bosis. Because I'm going to give you right now. What's that?
Is that homework?
That is homework. It's not a bet. It's not a bet. But it's homework. What's that?
Is the table also to move or to use?
Also to move. You can always touch Muktza.
You could use it.
You could use that as long as it won't move. You can sit at it, correct. You can sit and learn on it, no problem. Yeah, can't move it. Even if the Muktza's gone already.
What about just like move it back and forth?
A tiny, if it's like a little bit of a shaky table, that's not really called moving.
What about like a drawer?
But if it's moving properly, it's more like an egg, and that the Gemara already talks about that. A drawer, we'll talk about a drawer. Very good. Very good. A drawer next to your bed. What's the halacha with that? When it's got Muktza, it can also have non-Muktza in it. Right? For example, you can have a drawer in the kitchen. Does everybody have a drawer in their kitchen that's just like random stuff?
Yes.
Everyone does, no? It's not just, I'm not just crazy. So you got a drawer that has all the stuff in it, like it's just piled up with like random stuff. If you need anything, you go to that drawer. You need an old battery, one of the AAAA batteries, it's going to be in that drawer because someone put it there from years ago, or the instructions how to use the oven or something like that. It's something stuffed into that drawer. So what's the halacha of that drawer? What's the halacha of so many things on Shabbos? What's the halacha of keys, for example? You've got a bunch of keys, and on that bunch of keys is your home key and also your car key. So I don't want the car key, I want the home key, but it's attached together. Right? What's the halacha if you pick up your Gemara and you got there a piece of paper, which is Muktza? Does the whole Gemara become Muktza? But some people are very makbid on this. They won't touch the Gemara because of this. A paper is Muktza, we know that already.
I'm not good.
You're makbid on that? So you take it out before Shabbos, don't worry, I'll help you. Now, Rabbi said, let me give you the 5 conditions. This is so crucial. Guys are so lucky, it's unbelievable. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem! Listen carefully. Condition number 1. And we're going to go through them one by one in a lot of detail. Mordechai, you with me? Yeah. Very important. Condition number 1. It has to have been put there to remain there the whole Shabbos. That's condition number one. Condition number two, it has to have been placed there by the owner. Condition number three, that it has to be that the item holding the Muktza is only holding Muktza. It's not holding anything else, like something not Muktza. Number four, it has to have been placed there before Shabbos, not on Shabbos. And number five, the Muktza has to have some chashivus to it. Okay, so now we have the 5 conditions. Right, and again, you're not going to find this in the Mishnah Berurah. Like you open up a Mishnah Berurah in Siman Shin Ches, Shin Tesh, Shin Yud, Shin Yud Aleph, you're not going to find V'hinei yesh chamesh tanoim bebosis. You're not going to find that, right? So I put them together for you to make it easier for you. The 5 conditions that will make something bosis. If you're missing one of them, it's not a bosis. What is the din if it's not a bosis? Just to remind ourselves, if it's not a bosis, what's the din? You could what? Move it in a weird way?
You could like shake it.
Oh, you have to shake it off. That's the din. There's something on the table that for some reason is not a bosis. So you're not going to just pick up the table, do whatever you want with it. You have to shake off the Muktza. Now you can move the table. But that's only if it's not a bosis. If it's a bosis, shaking it won't help you. You're not even allowed to shake it. That's the difference in a bosis and not a bosis, okay? Now, if it fills all 5 tanoim, you have a shala bosis. If you miss one of the time, it's no bosis b'chlal. Let's go through the conditions one by one. It's going to take us some time, but I'm telling you it's kedai. I thought maybe you could finish the whole bosis in one share. But that's just ridiculous because I'm just going to give you like a summary. I want to go through the halachas properly. These are halachas that I'm telling you, most people are not familiar with. It's kedai to know this. So we'll start like this. Al das remain there the ganze Shabbos. There's a Gemara in Shabbos Kuf Chaf on a base, where the Gemara talks about a candle that was placed on a table. And the Gemara says, shake the table so the candle will fall off. And the Gemara says, that's only allowed if it was shochach. But if it was maniach, then you're not allowed because it's l'shem bosis, l'dava ha'asa, and that is going to be asa. So what do we see from there? We see from here that there's a major difference between if the item was placed there called maniach, bedafka, or it was shachach, or if it was forgotten. Shulchan Aruch and Shin Tes, Sif Dalet, paskins this way halacha l'maisa, like this Gemara, straight from the Gemara, that there's enough gemina how the item was placed. And it's very, very important for us to remember. If your passport is on your pillow when you come up to bed Friday night, what are you allowed to do? A passport, remember, is a Muktza machmas chasorin kiss. There's no het of Muktza gufa mekoimei. Is your pillow Muktza? So most people think, what's the big deal? Take your elbow, shove it off, and you're okay. Is that true? Because it's not a klisha melachtet is, it's a Muktza machmas chasorin kiss. We explained that already. And therefore, if that's the case, knocking it off the pillow is not going to help you. Because the whole pillow just became Muktza. So you cannot sleep on your bed the entire Shabbos now. But, however, this is why you have to know the details. There's enough gemina if it was placed there or if it was forgotten there. That's the enough gemina. We find that straight from the Gemara in the Shulchan Aruch and Shin Tes Dalet Pascha. This is why halacha l'maisa. So let me give you some examples. Maniach means it was placed there to remain there. In other words, a person, for example, was going away for Shabbos. So he says, I don't need my bed. Okay, because I can put my passport on my pillow, and I need it on Sunday morning. It's okay, I don't need it on Shabbos. Then he changed his mind. He's like, oh, I want to stay here for Shabbos. Bang, you got a problem. Because when you originally placed the Muktza there, you placed it to remain there. Right? That's what it is. And once you placed it to remain there, so it's going to be problematic in this case. What happens, and they asked from Shlomo Zalman, if a guy's an Amoritz, it's very, very sad. Loleni, we should never know of such people. We should never know of such things. But there are people out there that probably don't know halacha. Nebuch. It's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. So this guy doesn't know the halacha, and he didn't know that if you put a Muktza item on something, it becomes a bosis. Does it become a bosis?
No. You had no intention
He had no intention for what?
of making it work.
Because he knew if putting it there would make a Muktza?
No.
Again, he's an Amoretz. He doesn't know the halacha. What can you do? Nebuch. Poor guy, he doesn't know the halachas. So he put it on without knowing it's to become Muktza. He has no idea. Does it become Muktza? Also, Shlomo Zalman the kasha. Shlomo Zalman says we go by the emes. This guy's an Amoretz. That's not our problem. The emes says it becomes a Muktza. It becomes a boss. He didn't know. The loch batlanu. That's not our problem. And therefore it's going to be, it's called a maniach. That's called a maniach. Okay? Now, okay. Let me go to the flip side. I think it'll make it clearer. What's a shachach? Now, a shachach will not make a bosis. A shachach literally means forgot. What does that mean? That means if a person put a Muktza item there, intending, this the Magen Avraham says it's very clear in some Mishnah Tes, Mishnah Berurah passes this way, Sikot and Yud Ches, that if a person puts a Muktza item before Shabbos, he puts the passport on his pillow before Shabbos, I need it for a few minutes for Shabbos, I must make sure to remember to remove it when Shabbos comes in. He forgot to remove it. asks the Magen Avraham, what's the din? He forgot. He put it there to put it there. He didn't just stam leave it there. He put it there to put it there. But his intention was to remove it when Shabbos came, before Shabbos came in. He forgot to do so. Is that a shachach? Is that a maniach? Nafkamin is going to become a bosis. What are you tying?
There's no buses, you're allowed to move it.
Oh, we have to shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Very good. Magen Avraham says that's called a shachach. I forgot, and therefore that's why it will not become a bosis. What happens if a person remembered, he sees it there, he's like, ooh, I must make sure to take off the frozen raw fish on top of the ice cream, which is sitting on in the freezer before Shabbos, otherwise I'm going to have a trouble. To feed this Magen Avraham, it's going to be mutter. Why? Because again, the Magen Avraham tells, not only if you put it there, das to take it down. If you remembered before Shabbos that you want to remove it, but you just didn't have time to do so, Binyamin, that's called a shachach. And Paskins the Magen Avraham, that's considered to be a shachach in that case. Another example. A person threw a box of matches somewhere, and it happened to land on top of the plates. He didn't even chap, he didn't even know. He threw it, he threw it onto the shelf, he threw it on the shelf, it ended up being on the plates. He comes on Shabbos and wants to take a plate. He's allowed to take a plate? So according to Magen Avraham, he's allowed to do so. Because that's called a shachach. Now again, you're going to have to shake off the Muktza. But the Muktza item, once it's off, will not turn everything else to be a Muktza over there. Is that clear? So in other words, the only time, right, this is only the first condition, we have 5 conditions to get through. This is condition number 1. The only time that an item will become a bosis is if I put it there, I'll das to be there. I wanted the item to be on this surface. Not pshat, I wanted it there for a few minutes, I'll take it up before Shabbos, or I forgot, or I didn't remember. I want it to be there. Now it becomes Muktza. And now it becomes a bosis, which means even if the Muktza gets removed, you will not be allowed to remove it over there. Is that so far clear, Rabbi Say? Yeah. Dovi, clear? Yeah. Yes? Shimon? Got it. Very, very important. Now there's an exception. An exception is if an item is in its normal place. Right? An exception is like this. The Magen Avraham talks about this case as well. Yud. What happens if an item is in its regular place? If it's normally kept here, so here I don't care your kavanah. Here I don't care if it's maniach or it's shachach. If it's in its normal place, it is a bosis. What's a classic example? A guitar case. If there's a guitar in the case, now even if lemaisa, I only put it there for a minute, I'm going to take it out because I want to use the case, doesn't make a difference. That's its normal place. So there, automatically the guitar case will become a bosis that even if the guitar is not in there on Shabbos, because someone for some reason removed it, one of the children took it out, the case is going to be a bosis and will remain Muktza the Ganze Shabbos. A wallet is a similar idea. Even if I put money in there just for a few minutes, my intention was to take out the money before Shabbos, it was only a shachach, doesn't make a difference because it's meant to be there. A tzedakah box, another example. Even if all the money got removed from the tzedakah box, or even if I put the money in there, I'll das to take it out, but I just forgot, which is normally shachach, which normally won't make bosis. Again, feed the Magen Avraham, since the item is made to hold Muktza and it's in its regular place, it's automatically going to be a rubbish bin. A normal bin is Muktza, is normally bosis. Again, if it's empty, it's a kli shemalach l'issa. But if it's full of eggshells and all sorts of peels and pits that nobody eats, then the entire bin becomes a bosis. Doesn't make a difference if your intention was to leave it there, not to leave it there. Here it has absolutely no problem whatsoever. The same thing with the drawer. But Shimon will get to a drawer that has mutter and heter and issa. But if the Muktza is meant to be in this drawer, so I don't care whether or not I had kavanah to put it there, did not have a kavanah. Rabbi say it's late, let me just talk about one last thing. We've only discussed one of the 5 conditions today, and that is derech akrai. There's a major shaila if a person places Muktza onto something else, not be'etzem, because he wants the item to hold it up. Right? Until now, what's bosis? I put a stone on the stender. So I want the stender to hold up the stone. So if that's the case, the stender, which is the Tolin Chakir that we started with today, does it become as a din bittul, or is it a din hesachadas? Whatever we talked about that. But then the item is holding it up. I wanted it to be there. What happens, and the Trumas Hadeshin asks this kasha, whether or not a person puts something derech akrai ba'alma. I'll give you an example. A person put a raw fish in the freezer on top of the chocolate mousse. Now, he didn't put it there because he wanted the chocolate mousse to hold up the raw fish. He put it there because he's got no other space. The freezer is full, he's got no other space. That's the only place he can put it. That's called derech akrai. Is that going to be a bosis? Nafkamin, going to take the chocolate mousse out and use it on Shabbos for dessert? Or do we say Bosis in that case? So the Trumas Hadeshin brings somebody that asks him this kasha, and he wanted to say that it's Asa, and it's Mamash Bosis. And as I pass in the Taz Halacha Lemaisa, that I don't care if a guy put it there because there was no space. He put it there. He knew what he was doing. It's going to 100% be a Bosis. That's how the Trumas Hadeshin paskins, and that's how the Taz paskins. The Mogen Avram comes along, and the Mogen Avram brings the shoyel, the questioner, the person that asked the Trumas Hadeshin the kasha, and he wants to tell you la halacha lemaisa that there's a mokim to be making on Azay paskim the Meiri, Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Yavitz and Muktza and others as well, and therefore halacha lemaisa there are many, including the Aruch HaShulchan. Also his lashon is miu amekel b'durabanon le'hifsid, and Azay paskin also. As I mentioned, the Meiri, the Beis Meir passes this way, the Ben Ish Chai passes the way, the Chofetz Chaim and Nezi Yisrael passes this way as well. Not in Chofetz Chaim, you don't find it in the Mishnah Berurah so clearly, but in the Sefer Nezi Yisrael he brings it down. So there's definitely a mokim for a person to be makel, but a cry ba'alma. Again, the idea of a cry ba'alma means he put it there because there was no other. He put the matches on top of the plates because there was nowhere else on the shelf and he didn't want the kids to get to it. Not be'etzem because he wanted it on top of the plates because he needed the place to hold it up. Because there was nowhere else to put it. There's no other space. That's a cry ba'alma, which is a machloikas achronim, la locha lemaisa pashtas where you can be makel. Unless you don't have to be, then obviously you should be machmeh. But in a case where you can be, you can be makel in that case. The next shayla we have to get to is who has to place the muktza there. For example, if your cleaner comes along on Erev Shabbos and she sorts out the house and she takes something muktza and she puts it onto somewhere. Hey, I wanted to use that on Shabbos. Now on Shabbos you come like, hey, she put it on there. Does that become a Bosis or does not come a Bosis? Be'ezat Shem, tomorrow, the Siyata Deshmaya will go to the halachas. Have a wonderful day.